Hey, Taurus. No. Crosswatchers for Taurus. Not Taurus, Crosswatchers for Taurus. Welcome to your cross-watching video for September 2019. This is for anybody who's curious about a Taurus in their life. This is done in a... Uh, uh, this is done with love, guys. I'm not about spying. I'm not about throwing shade, spilling tea, whatever they say these days. It's not about that here. This is about what's in the best and highest good for everyone involved, including Taurus. I don't tolerate zodiac bashing on this channel. We want everyone to be at peace. We want high vibration for everybody. If you're a Taurus and you're watching, it might not resonate with you. These are still general readings. Your person might not be watching videos on my channel, or might not be watching tarot readings. They might not believe in tarot. So there's a lot of factors here. These are still general readings, but this is done for the cross watcher. This is done for the cross watcher. More for the cross watcher, not so much for the Taurus. I do love readings for all the zodiac signs too, but these are the cross watcher ones. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Crosswatcher, what's going on in September with your Taurus? We've got 7 of Wands. So I feel some of you are dealing with a Taurus where you all have been really trying to overcome something, or you might feel like you've talked to Taurus and you've set down some rules or some boundaries. There's things Taurus did that you didn't like. And 7 of Wands to me makes me feel that Taurus is really working to stick with the agreement or to keep their promises, okay? They're working really hard to keep their promises, okay? Or it could be you. You're like really working very hard that you don't go back, because maybe that's been the issue. And when I say don't go back, I don't necessarily mean go back to them. But maybe your issue in the past has been like you put your foot down about something, and then like you start to, like let it go, right? Like little by little, and then it goes back to the way it was before, right? And so 7 of Wands to me is sticking to it, sticking to whatever this boundary is, whether it's you having to stick to it and not let things slide back to how they were before, or if it's Taurus really working very hard to keep their promise, or maybe both of you. But this does feel to me like working towards the relationship, or working for the relationship, and trying to do the right thing in this situation. Our next card here is Ace of Wands. And Ace of Wands for me is passion, okay? It's connection. Some of you may have been waiting to get into bed with a Taurus, and that might be happening in September. Or some of you in an existing relationship may be getting the fire back, in the relationship. Overall, Ace of Wands is about passion, okay? It's about desire, okay? So it could have just been with the 7 of Wands also, like Taurus needing to get their power back. They may have been feeling very discouraged in life, and things might be starting to pick up for them in September, to where they're starting to feel good about themselves. They're feeling sexy again. They're feeling confident again, right? So that might be one of the ways in which you can help your Taurus, okay? Especially if you're in a relationship and if you feel like things have been lacking in the bedroom. Look for ways that you can help Taurus get their confidence back. Not so much in ways that you're commending them for their appearance or how they look, right? But like things that they do that you admire, that you respect, things that, make them sexy to you, that don't have to do with how they look or how they dress. Just admirable things that like you see them as like a good, strong, confident person. That can be very helpful for a lot of you as well, okay? But I just really feel like a lot of you are dealing with this passion reawakening, or giving into passion, whatever the circumstances may be with a Taurus in the month of September, okay? I feel like whatever this is, it's gonna be like earth shattering. I don't know why, but this feels very extreme to me. It feels very like a very strong connection. So some of you may be experiencing like an off the charts chemistry. And that might be something that maybe both of you have been trying not to give into, but September may be the time where you just guys can't seem to, you know, take it any slower than you have been, for those of you who've been trying to take things slow with somebody. I feel for some of you also, though, are dealing with a Taurus, or maybe Taurus was trying to take it slow because they felt like they didn't want to open up that side of themselves because they felt like it was going to be too intense, right? Like if they opened it up and if they let it happen, then like it was going to be very intense, or like they were just trying to hold back because they didn't want to come off as you know, that intense, or like they were worried about, okay, well then I'm gonna be all in it, I'm gonna be wanting it all the time. So and that has kind of come up for a few of the signs. So there could be something happening in the collective energy, or we could have a lot of people whose root chakras are becoming unblocked all at once. But there's a lot of like fiery, like you know, lusty energy in September. So I don't know what's going on, but something's going on, and your Taurus may be feeling it. Next, we have Eight of Pentacles. So this is carving out the details. This is like perfecting something, like really perfecting something. So it could be that Taurus is looking at the situation in a way where they're wanting, I'm hearing, I want to get it right this time. You may be dealing with a Taurus who hasn't had the best track record when it comes to relationships. And so they might just be really wanting to do the things the right way this time. Hence the Seven of Wands. Like they're really trying. They're trying to get it right this time. I'm hearing straight and narrow. They're trying to walk the straight and narrow. I do feel for those of you who've been in a relationship for a long time with this person, you may be going to counseling together, because for some reason, sometimes Eight of Pentacles comes up for me in love readings when Spirit's talking about going to counseling together, because there's something here with like fine-tuning or perfecting, educating, understanding, learning. So there could be like you all are needing somebody to come in and teach you all how to communicate with each other better, or be like the mediator in some way, or mentor you guys in some way through the relationship. And for other ones of you where you're dating, or you're starting to get to know this person, they might do something like as it's coming into becoming a serious relationship, or you guys are trying to figure out if you want to become exclusive, or if you guys are talking about moving together or getting married, like moving in together, getting married, they might want to do that beforehand. Okay, it might be a religious thing for some of them. I'm not Catholic. I was not raised Catholic, but I have a lot of friends who are Catholic, and I know in the Catholic religion, like you can't get married in the church unless you all go to like couples counseling first, because they feel like if you do that, then you won't get divorced, or it'll be less likely that you get divorced. It's really not a bad idea. I mean, I'm not Catholic, but I'm all for it. I mean, why not? Why not go before you get married and make a promise to someone to be faithful forever and ever and commit to them forever and ever? Why not go and get that stuff figured out beforehand, right? So it could be some of you are dealing with someone who's doing something like that, you know, who's doing something like that where they're wanting to like, again, make sure they're doing things the right way. They want to make sure they're getting it right. I feel like a lot of you are dealing with a Taurus where like they want this to be their last relationship. And Crosswatcher, like you got to figure out if this is something you want to do, or if this is the person you want it to be with. If you're really in that lusty energy, like if you're just all Ace of Wands about them, like that, like you need to communicate that. Taurus needs to know that. If you're just about to hit it and quit it, or if you're just about to Netflix and chill, they need to know that, because I feel like a lot of you are dealing with a Taurus where like they're looking to make this it, or make this final, or they're looking for the person where it's going to be it, or it's going to be final. Okay, these are general readings, so I cannot guarantee that every single one of you are dealing with a Taurus who's serious and who's not playing around. But the energy here to me feels to be somebody who's like serious, and they want to make sure you all are on the same page. Okay, you may need a private reading to figure out if it really is applying to your Taurus. But this is energy to me in the general reading that feels to me like this is someone who's really ready and wants to perfect things, or they're working on themselves. They're trying to be a better person so that they can commit. Maybe they're not ready to commit in September, but they're working on themselves so that they can commit. So they may be going to therapy or counseling, or they may be getting into some kind of self-help, or they may be going back to church or something, like just trying to make themselves better for the sake of the relationship and so that they won't mess things up, because there's this feeling of like, I want to get it right this time. I don't want to mess it up. That's like the energy that I'm feeling around it. The next card here is Three of Cups. So this is going to be celebration. This is going to be happiness. This is going to be having a good time. This is going to be finding your community of people. Okay. Three of Cups, believe it or not, it doesn't look like it here in this card, in this picture, but it can also indicate announcements of engagements or births. Okay. So maybe some of you do have a baby on the way, and Taurus is, maybe this is why Taurus is like, I gotta really, really get my crap together right now and get this right and not mess this up. Or maybe some of you are, gonna be talking about engagement or preparing for that kind of thing. I do feel Three of Cups though, in this energy and in this way. I feel like a lot of you, it's very interesting. The way that there's these Three Cups and they're like pouring into each other. I feel like some of you are coming into Taurus's life and they're seeing you as the perfect blend between previous partners that they've had. Like maybe they've been a Taurus that they played around a lot, or they had, like, they would have more than one partner because they weren't ever fully satisfied. But they might be seeing you as you're everything, like you're the mix of everything, right? Typically with Three of Cups, there's three women on the card, but we don't have three women on this card in the Three of Cups. We've got this chick and we've got these, she's got all the cups, right? So they might be seeing you, whether you're male or female, they might be seeing you as you've got all the cups, right? So I'm getting that sense or that feeling. I do feel for some of you, maybe in the past, like you were the forbidden fruit, right? And they kind of stayed away, or they refrained from you, and they were wanting to do the right thing. But now something might be happening where they're finally free. Like they're finally free. They're not in that other relationship, or they're done playing around. And now they're like, okay, like now they're ready to kind of, try to pursue these things with you and try to pursue making this happen with you. Taking the relationship a little bit more to the next level, a little bit deeper. And so there could be like a public announcement where you all are actually putting a label on things. If it's not like an engagement party or like, just something that formal or that big, it could just be making it known, making it announced that we're together. We're together now, or we're a couple now. So there could be those of you who've been waiting to put a label on things that might be happening for you in September with Taurus. Again, these are general readings, but that could be happening for some of you with Taurus. The next card here is the Hermit, right? So you may be a Virgo cross-watcher, so it might be a good idea to check in here and see what like your positive Virgo traits are and how they could maybe help this relationship. If you are a Virgo, I will say this. Your Taurus is working really hard on perfecting themselves right now. And if there's anything Virgos are good at, it's perfection. Okay? You all have, and I don't mean to stereotype because I know everybody's different, but Virgos have an uncanny ability for seeing how things can be improved, or what might be missing, or what might be improved upon, because that's how you live your life, Virgos. You look at things like, how can I make this better? How can I improve this? But if you're dealing with someone who's like kind of insecure right now, and they're working really hard to improve themselves, they don't have that thick skin that you have for yourself, right? Like if you look at something and if you say, oh, I could do this better if I change this, or this would be improved if that were changed. You don't get all hurt about that because you just see it as, oh, like this could be better. But I don't think I don't think Taurus can handle that. Okay, you might be coming in a very loving way where you're trying to help, but Virgo's not going to be helped by having little things pointed out to them, like, oh, you missed this, oh, this is great, but try doing this instead. They can't handle that right now. So just know that, cross watcher, that is something that could be like a deal breaker for them, at least in September, until they're getting a little bit more, confident with themselves, and maybe they'll have a thicker skin and they can be in a more open-minded place to review that criticism, that positive criticism, but they might not be ready for that in September. There could also be a seeking out a spiritual mentor that they're seeking out to help them in this process. They might be connecting with themselves and their own spirituality, okay? The Hermit card is really a card about awakening and seeing the truth about yourself and figuring out who you are and what you want to do, and like being on your path. And so it does feel to me like a lot of the Taurus are going to be doing that at this time. And it's interesting here because it's like it's shining out of his heart. You don't normally see that on the Hermit card. So I do feel your Taurus is going through these spiritual changes that are opening up their heart or purifying their heart. And for some reason, as I'm looking at that bright shining like diamond there, I heard the word repentance. I heard the word remorse. So some of you may be dealing with a Virgo who is atoning for their sins, I guess. You might be dealing with a Taurus. Some of you might be dealing with a Taurus who's like atoning for their sins, right? And they might be seeing you as like this person of purity, or this person that has a spiritual connection that they may be trying. I don't want to say trying to mimic your spiritual connection, but they're just seeing you as a very, very guiding person in their life, or they're trying to emulate some of the things that they're seeing in you. They're trying to be more like you. You might be inspiring them in some way. You may be this teacher to them in some way. So just be patient and let them figure it out instead of pointing out to them. Sometimes the really good teachers are the ones that let the student figure it out, right? So your Taurus needs that. Your Taurus needs that right now. All right, my dears, be sure to watch your love video for your zodiac sign because that can be very helpful. But also, guys, don't forget about the weekly forecasts for all the zodiac signs because, I do those every single week because I want you guys to have readings that are about your life other than love. I know love is important. I know everybody's curious about love life. I'm all for it. There's nothing wrong with that. It just makes me sad when people get so wrapped up in it that they forget about other parts of their life. So, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it and watch it. Go ahead and watch the forecasts for your zodiac sign for the week because, those are going to be very helpful in a lot of ways for a lot of people. You may need a private reading, whether it's a general reading for general areas of your life or if it's a love reading. I'm more than happy to do private readings. If you click on the Calendly link in the description of the video, it will take you to the scheduling page. All right, my dears, if you want information on which cards I used, I always have a link to the cards in the description of the video. You can check those out there and learn more about them there. And I thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I'm wishing you a fabulous September, my dears.